This is Cody Dean, and this assignment pertains to the energy wedge problem brought up in Environmental Science 2 by Professor Welch. First and foremost, the wedge is made in attempts to focus efforts on the most efficient ways to keep carbon creation down. The higher wedges offer the least amount of help, as they may take too long and too much to push out. The lower wedges essentially stop, production of carbon altogether. Examples of the higher ones would end up being the example would end up being of future cars being more fuel efficient. Most people will be stuck with older gas guzzlers simply due to cost. Until the government is willing to subsidize costs, it will be unfeasible to expect everyone to upgrade their vehicles to a more fuel efficient one. Overall, the nuclear power and Overall, the wedge itself focuses on reducing total carbon output and even stopping it completely, i.e., nuclear power and biostorage, while the other options focus on slowly adapting our technology to reduce future carbon introduction. So with transport efficiency, we run into the issue of cost. Since the majority of the world still drives older model cars that guzzle gas, it'd be extremely difficult to replace all of them with cars that are twice as efficient. The carbon emissions would go up in the short term due to needing to power all of the factories to produce the better vehicles. Now, with solar electricity, we also run into the issue of cost and efficiency. Currently, our production of solar panels costs way more than it puts out in its lifespan, and the materials needed cause additional costs and carbon emissions than when producing them. Now, with electrical efficiency is another good way to reduce our carbon output. The hurdles we face for this involve having to essentially update every single device out there in nature to be up to code. As we all know, most homes are still stuck with inefficient systems built from the 50s and 60s that would have to involve tearing them down and starting over. That'd be hard to convince people to give up their homes, so we need to focus on future homes to follow a certain standard. Now with fuel switching, the little red text on blue, which is hard to see for some reason. With fuel switching, with attempts to move from coal and gas to natural gas, we could provide more efficient fuel for future vehicles. The problem with this somewhat involves the same things as transport efficiency and cost of moving things over. It would have to be a gradual change, one that could effectively update itself as technology improves, because of the simple fact that tech moves faster than we can build. An important one would be soil storage. Soil storage is one effective method that we can start using right now and for the future, naturally allowing the soil to retain its natural carbons through planting cover crops to keep the soil from losing its needed nutrients and chemicals. Its cost is relatively low, and the effects may seem minimal due to needing a larger size, but if all agriculture moves towards this way, we may not ever need to introduce extra chemicals into the ground to keep it fertile. Now with forest storage, the cost is relatively low, aside from the governmental spending to keep areas safe from deforestation. Through preserving the forest, we run less risk of destroying absolutely everything and increasing our carbon emissions so rapidly. Since trees are nearly 50% carbon, they are excellent storage for it. Now with nuclear energy, we run into the issues of cost and maintaining a plant that could possibly damage life in an ecosystem during a meltdown. Though it produces no carbon emissions and provides plenty of electricity to all the area, it is still a bit of a taboo subject due to many fears of what it could do if something were to happen. Now with the final wedge of biofuels, we have a solution that could solve effectively the majority of carbon emissions. By using biofuels, we return the carbon that was already stored inside the plants back to the atmosphere into the carbon cycle in a better controlled method rather than using coal and petroleum. Overall, the best methods we have are already at our disposal. The biggest hurdle is cost and moving everyone over to new and better methods. We need to move away from using money and jobs as an excuse for destroying our planet. We only have the one, and we can't count on Mars to save us.